Don't get caught in a moment. And yes, this is Brittany Simone with Do You See What I See? Because I feel that sometimes we get stuck in that moment and we never leave it. We do everything to recreate that moment over and over again. And if you want to know how, look at addicts, those who get drunk for the first time, high for the first time. Even after your very first time intimately, you want to recreate that feeling so much that you get caught in that moment, that you keep it on repeat. And you don't expand and look at the bigger picture. Because every moment has reverberations. Every moment's create a current and a ripple in time that begins to affect and touch other things around you. So if you get caught in that one moment and you stay there and you keep rehearsing it, you'll find that you'll keep having it come to you over and over again. And then you'll miss the next moment. You'll miss the next big thing. You'll miss the next opportunity if you get caught in that one moment. If you stay in that one moment, it will continue to be on a loop and you will rehearse it over and over again. And that's the true definition of hell. Because now you are in that situation that you are experiencing over and over and over again, hoping to get a different reaction, a different moment. And that's insane. So don't get caught up in that moment. Like I know for me, getting caught up in a moment can be that moment that I just published my first book. I'll put it in details. But if I get caught up in that one moment, I won't create another book. I'll just hold on to it and keep recreating that moment of that one book. And I'll miss the moment to write another one. I'll miss the moment to bring more to the table. I'll miss the moment to create more. Don't get caught up in that moment. Is it wonderful to experience it in that moment and stay present? Absolutely. Just don't find yourself staying in that moment, hoping that it will come back to you over and over again in the same way. But you'll have another moment that is just as amazing. And even with that, you have to look at it with relationships. Sometimes you may have an amazing relationship that may unfortunately come to an end. Can it be rekindled? Absolutely. All things are possible. However, it takes two to tango. And if that one person is not willing to tango with you in that moment, don't do everything you can to keep rehearsing it, hoping that that'll bring it forth or bring it to pass. Because I know for me personally, then you'll miss the opportunity for lightning to strike twice. Because I know for me personally, lightning will strike twice. Because I'll have that very first love. And it can come back again. And it could be recreated in a whole different new moment. But if I stay in that moment, I'll miss the lessons I need to learn. I'll miss the growth. I'll miss the learning. But most of all, I would have missed me in that moment. Because I would not look at what I did, the role I played. I'll miss all of that. And then I won't grow. And then I'll find myself trying to recreate it over and over again. And possibly with someone new. Or even with the same person trying to recreate those moments where I messed up, but I didn't learn from it. Because that moment is still so fresh and so raw that I get caught up in trying to just recreate that moment over and over again. And it doesn't work. I'll get worn out. They'll become worn out. And then eventually we'll hate each other. Because I'm not moving forward and they are. Or they're moving forward and I'm moving forward, but I'm moving forward in the same vein. Or I'm moving forward and they're not. So don't get caught up in that moment. It will get you in a whole heap of mess and have you hurting constantly, hemorrhaging constantly because you never took the time to heal. Or you never took the time to say, you know what, I can recreate that moment. It may not be in the same situation, but it can come back. Because a lot of times we get stuck on that feeling that that moment brings. And because we get stuck in that moment that that feeling brings, we neglect to move to create the next moment, because life is filled with moments. Don't get stuck in that one, or you'll find yourself insane because you keep asking, why isn't it working? That's because you're still trying to make that old puzzle piece fit when that puzzle has already been created. And you keep going back and picking at it. That's like the scab. The moment when you fell and scraped your knee past, but you keep picking at it. If you keep running and falling the same way, thinking that if you fall harder or softer, it will hurt less or won't be there. Or you learn what happened. You learn what caused that fall. And then you are wiser and you are more mature and you have growth. So don't get caught up in that moment, because it has reverberating effects. There's a lot of things that can happen with one moment that you don't always really see when you focus on that one moment. Because you may find yourself in that situation, in that moment, that leads you to another moment that brings something greater. It brings you to another moment that brings something better. That brings you something else that is more informative. That brings you something that is more beneficial, that is valuable. And then you'll experience elevation. Because that moment went to create more moments. So don't get caught up in the moment. Have it, enjoy it, bask in it, and then get ready for what's next. Because every moment, it always propels you to what's next. And so, yes, this is Brittany Simone with Do You See What I See? And if you don't, let me show you.